looked inside. I found a trip. Know that someone wrote that said take her for a ride. I set a course for sights and scenes, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship. All you gotta do is join our trip. There isn't any cost of membership. All the sailors here are really hip. I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard our trip. I'm really hoping that you'll
Botanical
enjoy
sexism was
it
introduced to many TikTok users thanks to this video that's been liked more than...
So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship.
Holy guacamole, people. I'm telling you, how many things can go wrong in a lousy 5-minute period while I'm trying to start a lousy show? You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Holy Hannah. How the heck are you doing out there? It's your brother Zoe coming to you. Yes, trying to recover from being in the hospital. Oh, he is. Is he home? And that's a great likeness of him, by the way. I like that. Kind of reminds me of somebody I know. Was just chatting with Girl Patriot, whose hubby was in the hospital lately. That's why we were praying for him on Sunday night. She says I'm guessing he's home. Yes, he must be home because she says he's trying to recover from being in the hospital. You know, that isn't fun. The doll is awful, says Daily Insanity. I was going to send you guys one. I thought how nice it would look as like on one of your end tables there in your living room. You know, you don't have to have the wig either. You can do a Dusko without the wig. Duska rocks without her wig. Without her wig. All right. How the heck are you, my friends? Let's get a quick peek. Shall we get a quick peek? Let's just make sure I'm live everywhere I'm supposed to be live. I am definitely live at Pilled Foxhole. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Over here in Rumble Land, there we are. Yes, we are live as we should be. And there's people hanging out there. That's a beautiful thing. I like it. How about in YouTube land? Are we live in YouTube land? We are. We are, in fact, and there are people lurking. There are people lurking. And I'm thrilled about that. Thanks for being here. Get one more bit of black light on me. Here we go. All right. It's a beautiful thing. Live over at Twitch. There it is, that beautiful, beautiful picture. Matty F&B, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man, all the way from Philly, just outside Philly. Shh, don't tell anyone. We don't want to give away his previously undisclosed location. Good to see you, my brother. Hope you're doing well. I got the word. I mean, I know how you've been doing. I hope you're doing better. That's what I'm hoping. And of course, the lovely little gang over at D Live. All the dear and wonderful sailors over there. Good to see them all. All right, we're live everywhere we're supposed to be live for a pleasant change. I had a tough time getting out of the harbor. I don't know why. There was one of the channels was open, and then when it first repeats, then it goes back in the system and it repeats again, and you just keep getting this tunnel of repeating, and I'm like, damn it, which freaking channel is it? And it was somehow Pilled had its volume left open. I don't know how. Let's say our hellos, shall we? Revenge O Deutsche. Wonderful to see your smiling face. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Daily Insanity is with us. Good to see you, little lady. Girl Patriot, we know that she's hanging tough. Due diligence in the house, my brother. My brother to the north. Have a grog on me. You know what, man? When I filled this up tonight, it was a little heavy on the rum. I have since added a dash of Coke, and I'll add one more, but this isn't going to make it through the program. No, it's not. Secret Weapon in the house. Good to see you from the north of Texas, north of Dallas. Cynthia, all the way from the wonderful state of Massachusetts. How are you doing, darling? Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to look up and see your smiling face, even if you don't love Duska. Crazy Chuck with a K. You know, some people have lava lamps. I have Duska. Okay? I have Duska. She's 1 in a million, that girl. She is. And she lights up. Crazy Chuck with a K. Great to see you. 208 Outdoors. Zoom. What is going on, my man? Hope everything is good in everybody's world over there in Foxhole. At the Foxhole. A warm and comfy bunker awaits. We have picked up a few more. We've picked up a few more over there at Rumble. Whoever you Rumblers are, I don't know who you are because I can't see your names, but I can tell you I'm very happy you're here, and you will be enlightened this evening. I have got a very, very interesting show for you. A very, very interesting show for you today. Okay. Over in YouTube. Yes, we have people watching there. I'm tickled pink. I'm pickled tink. Let's go back to Lemon Land, where the sailors are a brewin'. Val Kimber is in the house. T.L. Spud is with us. Wonderful to see both of those gents. Fine kettle of fish we have here. Bad Zoot is with us. How are you doing, Jayla? Always a pleasure, little lady. Hope all is good in your world there in New York. The beautiful part of New York. The gorgeous part of New York, in fact. Wonderful folks hanging out. Willie, fix it. What else is new?
Botanical sexism was introduced to many TikTok
Why does that
users
keep
thanks
doing
to this
that?
video that's been.
Why does that keep starting all by itself? That's driving me nuts. It's driving me nuts. You know what? I can do this. I learned this from the Foxhole Squares. Anytime you have a tab open, I never knew this just because I'm a computer tard, but anytime you have a tab open, when you have multiple tabs open, if you've got one that just keeps making noise, you can go up to the tab on the top and right-click it, and then click Mute Site, and then it will shut the furk up. It will shut the furk up! Folks, it's been a challenging little week for your brother Zoe, and it's only Wednesday. I think I told you what has happened to me thus far, right? Did I? Yeah, I think I did. A week ago, yes, I shared this. A week ago, I smashed my phone. Yes, a week ago, I went for a motorcycle ride. My work phone fell out of my pocket because this vest of mine has a secret attribute. I'm going to take this pocket. I'm going to take this phone right here. I'm going to put it in my pocket, and I'm going to show you something. The whole inner liner is ripped, and therefore anything you put in your right pocket can go out. It feels like it's in there, and it basically is in there until it decides to turn sideways like this. Then it just goes right out the hole, and away she goes. So 2 weeks ago, I lost my work phone. By some miracle of God, I got my phone back. Last Sunday, I went for a motorcycle ride, and I lost my personal phone. This is my personal phone. My work phone, my personal phone. This is a $1,600. This is the single biggest gigabyte phone that they make. It's 516 gig or something. It's ridiculous. And to make it more preposterous, it's loaded. It's loaded to the gunwales. Wait, bad audio. Static on my mic. Static on my mic. Well, there's only one way I can tell. There's only one way I can tell, and that's to listen in. Let's do it. Let's listen in. Static on my mic. What the hell is that all about? What is that all about? All right, I'm turning on the volume. Volume is up. Go to my channel. My channel. Come on. What the hell? All right. Screw that. We'll go to YouTube then. If DLive doesn't want to cooperate. All right. Let me hear this. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Very strange. I'm not getting anything. Testing 1 2. Holy guacamole, you're not kidding me, Artist 61. Sounds like a windstorm. Testing 1 2. Test 1 2. I can't have a windstorm of. Testing 1 2. Test 1 2. Testing. I can't have a windstorm of. Testing 1 2. Test 1 2. Testing. I can't have. Oh, that's the replay. Would you? Wonderful folks, kindly let me know if the audio sounds like shit, because I want to definitely address that. I don't know what's going on. Holy moly. Yeah, that is downright, not only is it unprofessional, it is unsavory. It is, uncouth, uncivilized. Hopefully it's getting better. Thank you, Steph, for your help. I definitely appreciate that. Drives me crazy having bad audio. Were other people saying it? Heavy breathing in a Sahara sandstorm. Thank you, Dixie. Thank you, darling. Now it sounds better on Foxhole. Well, that helps. We are so fucked, said Due Diligence. Great to see you tonight. So it sounds better on Foxhole now. Do we have any, there's static in the background, basically. What the hell? Where's it coming from? Yeah, give me half a second, would you? What the hell is that? Yeah, that's All right, my friend says that it's okay on Rumble. Heavy breathing in a sahab. All right, my friend says that it's okay on Rumble. Heavy breathing in a sahab. All right, so I'm gonna work my way through this. I'm just gonna keep going forward. If it's abysmal, will you let me know? Okay. If the sound sounded like a fan, I do have a fan on in the background. I always have sound problems when I come. I don't know. Whatever you did, it made it better for a second. It's frogs. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. A gateway to another dimension. The static is still there. What I did, TL, is I turned my mixer off for a second. That's what I did. I'm just going to keep going forward. If it's abysmal, will you let me know? Okay. What the hell? Where is that static coming from? It sounded like a fan. I do have a fan on in the background. I always have sound problems when I come. That's going to drive me to drink. What I did, TL, is I turned my mixer off for a second. That's what I did. So I'm just going to keep going forward. If it's abysmal, will you let me know? Okay. What the hell? Where is that static coming from? I'm really sorry, folks. I don't know what to say. All I can do is jiggle the mic cord. I do remember that. Jiggle the mic cord. Well, I'm just going to try to move. This is the mystery ship, remember? Everything is, just pretend we're out at sea and there's a wind blowing. There's a wind blowing across our face. That's all I can say. The fuzzy sounds like the intro to 10cc. I'm not in love, so don't forget it. Oh boy. Maybe we can summon her. I'm just going forward, people. That's all I can do. Go forward. You know, it's just one of those nights on the mystery ship, okay? It's just one of those nights on the mystery ship. For the life of me. For the love of Pete. Okay. So, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a video. I'm going to play a video. That way I can listen in along with you. And I will be jiggling wires and doing whatever that jiggling is that I do. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jiggle everything that I can jiggle. And we'll be back on the other side of this video, and then this damn show is going to start, okay? I'm going to jiggle everything worth jiggling during this video. And I'll see you on the other side, okay? Let's just do that. Let's just do that. That way I can listen in on my phones and find out what the hell this is. What the hell this is? God. Come on now.
My fellow citizens, our country is in danger, but not to be despaired of. On you depend the fortunes of America. We, the Americans of today, are ready to act worthy of ourselves, ready to do what must be done to ensure happiness and liberty for ourselves, our children, and our children's children. We are a nation under God, and I believe God intended for us to be free. The crisis we're facing today, it does require, however, our best effort and our willingness to believe in ourselves and to believe in our capacity to perform great deeds, to believe that together, with God's help, we can and will resolve the problems which now confront us. And after all, why shouldn't we believe that? We are Americans.
I really don't know what's happening. Did the video sound okay? Anyway, I'm just forging ahead. What can I say? You also hear the video. So the volume and clarity of the audio seems good, but there's a loose wire or something. You also hear the video. I still hear the wind blowing, so to speak. So yeah, there is something. Damn it. I don't know what it is. But if it's so much you can't stand it, go watch Red Pill 78. I think he's on. Ah, man. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but for the last 2 years, maybe 3, a man known as myself, a relatively healthy man with zero allergies or anything of that nature, nothing. Allergies don't even run in my family. My one uncle, I had one uncle on my mother's side who was plagued by sinus congestion. This poor guy had to go to the hospital and get shots. It got so bad, and especially during, what do they call it, allergy season? Is spring. In the spring, when all the flowers are blooming, these times can be just miserable for those who have sinus issues. I have never had sinus issues. Never been a problem for me. But somewhere, around 3 years ago, when I started waking up, my nose would run. Now, I didn't have a cough. I didn't have sinusitis. I didn't have anything going on. Nothing. Except for a runny nose. And it would last 15 minutes in the morning. I would just get up, blow my nose, have a few sips of coffee, blow my nose a little more, and then it would stop and it's gone for the whole day. I personally adore spring. Especially like literally right now, this time of year, right smack dab where we are right now in May. As a kid, I used to love riding my Honda to work in my 20s, coming from the San Fernando Valley, going over the hill into Hollywood. When you would go over the Barham Hill of the Hollywood freeway, just as you crested, Universal Studios is on your right. The Hollywood Bowl is on your, Universal Studios is on your left. The Hollywood Bowl is on your right as you're going south on the Hollywood freeway. The minute you crested that little hill and drove down into the bowl that is the Hollywood Basin, this incredible smell just tickled your nostrils. And it was like, I don't know, jasmine or some kind of, I don't know what it is. To this day, I don't know what it is. All I know is it was one of my most favorite drives every single year in May. The blossoms were blossoming and just, oh my God, you just breathed it in and went, God, it was like better than any fine dessert. I loved it. Up here in Oregon, where I live, the only thing that's even remotely close to this is there is I have world class lilacs in this yard. A couple of them are 20 footers, 2 or 3 of them are 12 feet. The smallest one, I think, is a 9-footer. And there's 5 different varieties. And they are mind-blowingly incredible. And with a schnoz like mine, I can smell them across the yard. I can sit on my front porch in my rocking swing and just smell those lilacs and just go, oh, baby, baby, baby. It's just nature's own perfume. It's incredible. It's incredible. So, when out of the blue, my nose started running for no reason, I had to find something to blame this on. I had to find something to say, that's what's doing it. That's it. And at first, I thought it was the cats, okay? I thought it was too much cat. We got yet another cat, 4 cats running around the house. I blamed the carpet. We had the carpets cleaned. We did everything we could conceivably do. We went around and dusted the whole house. Nothing we did seemed to stop my nose from running. And this is just, it's weird. In fact, it's stupid. It drives me nuts. I hate it because I've never suffered from anything like this. Now, I'm fortunate. So far this season, this spring, this pollen season, I've had like 2 days where I felt like my nose was running. But I have had several mornings when I get up and I walk out of the house at like 5:30, 5:45 to get in my truck to drive away. You can smell the pollen in the air. It has sort of a sweet aroma, but you can tell that the flowers, they are releasing whatever it is that they release, and they're in 10th gear with the throttle wide open. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. So a while back, I saw a short video. I don't know if it was a TikTok or what it was, but it was a horticulturist. And he was complaining, saying that the pollen that many Americans suffer from was not an accident, that it was in fact caused by the planting of nothing but male trees. And I'm like, come on. The planting of nothing but male trees. So, like any other crazy little conspiracy that I come across, I did some digging, and I started finding these sites. And, the thing is, for every site that you find that proves that this is truth and not a conspiracy, you'll find another that says, no, that's a bunch of bullshit. I have done some homework on this. And strangely enough, here is something that I can prove to you is true. Now, we all know, those of us who are awakened, us awakened souls, we've known about, call them whoever you want to call them at this point. I don't care if you call them, the Illuminati or whatever. The powers that be is just the way I like to refer to them as. The powers that be, the filthy rich people that run the world. There seems to be, it's possible that there is an agenda out there to turn us into a world subservient to one small group of masters, where we will own nothing and be happy and eat bugs, and they will eat the filet mignon and we won't. They'll live in their nice little underground cities, not affected by the stuff that you and I are affected by. And, you're going to have a bunch of people saying, oh, God, there goes Zoe. He's a nutter. He's a nutter. That Zoe, he's a nutter. And now, 20 years ago, actually, is it 20? It's 26, 25, 20, 26 ago. 26 years ago, When I noticed my first chemtrail, I think I've shared this numerous times, but I'll share it once more just for the context of this show. My father had 2 degrees. He had a degree in aeronautical engineering. Coming out of the Air Force, he wanted to go to work immediately for somebody like, Northrop or one of the, Boeing, one of the big aircraft companies. And somebody gave him a piece of advice saying, don't do it. Go into something different. So my dad ended up going to work for a company called Borg Warner. And they are a worldwide outfit. And my dad was, from a business sense, a much broader perspective for him. Instead of, the aerospace companies are, just in California, or I guess now they moved Boeing from Seattle to, was it North Carolina or something? Who knows? I'm very glad that my dad didn't go to work for the aerospace industry, because I knew a lot of people. I know as a kid growing up in the San Fernando Valley, many of the local parents, I knew several whose fathers were laid off from Northrop, from what are some of the other companies? Grumman, the ones who built the moon lander. They're all over Southern California. They're just dotted all over Southern California. All of the aerospace industry, tech people, and I'm very glad my dad decided not to go that route. Damn, I wish I could hear my headphones. I really can't. I hope the Sahara Desert isn't coming on too strong for you. But I will look into the problem. Anyway, how did I get on that tangent? Oh, my dad had 2 degrees, okay? And when I was a kid, we would mow the lawn, and my dad and I would lay there in the fresh cut grass, and I would look up and I would see jets going overhead. And there would be that big long contrail behind the jet, and it would dissipate. The jet goes along, it leaves like a, from my perspective on the ground, about a 3-inch long line, but it would disappear behind the jet. And I remember asking my dad, I'm like 8 years old, 9 years old, Dad, why does that white line behind the plane, why does that disappear? And he sat and very carefully explained it to the poor 9-year-old boy that was asking this dumb question, explaining that you have a hot engine up in a cold atmosphere, and ice particles form from the heat and cold, and that when they are disappearing, they're actually melting. The sun's rays are melting those ice particles, and it follows the jet across. But then I noticed somewhere around 1999, right around 1999, 2000, is when I first noticed these lines going all the way across the whole sky, and that they didn't melt and go away. They, in fact, spread out into this wild haze. So for years, I researched that, and there's all kinds of whistleblowers, and I mean, the story's been told 100,000 times. There's 400, 500 different reasons why people think there are such things as chemtrails. I can tell you that they're spraying the living piss out of us right now. They really are. Whatever it is, they are spraying on us, and it must be something, because it's not evaporating. So it must be something. Geoengineering, whatever you want to call it, jet fuel. Nobody's right on this. Nobody. Everybody has their opinion. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all wrong, because they're still doing it to us. And we know that ultimately they want to They want to do away with like 3/4 of the world's population, right? Everybody knows this. It's no big secret. The less of us we are, the easiest it is to control us. Isn't that the truth? The less amount of people who might revolt. So for a long time, I blamed maybe the chemtrails. Maybe that could be the reason for my runny nose. But we do have moments. We do have moments when there aren't any. There aren't any lines in the sky. And you say to yourself, well, why is my nose still running? They haven't sprayed us in 3, 4, 5 days. What the hell? It has to be something different. So you start looking elsewhere. And like I said, I blamed the cats. I blamed the fact that maybe we hadn't shampooed our carpets in a few years. Well, we've shampooed our carpets like 6 times in the last 3 years. Yeah, those carpets are freaking clean. There is nothing lingering in those carpets right now. They even smell good. So along comes this video, and I'm like, could there be any truth to this rumor? And what this guy was saying, and I'll share this with you. I will share this with you right now. Back in 1949. Back in 1949, this little pamphlet was put out. Let me share this with you. You see that pamphlet right there? Let me see if I can blow this up for you. Yes. This little pamphlet right here was put out in 1949. Damn it. Go all the way back. How do I go single page? Here it is. There's single page right there. Okay. Yes. This came out of a public library in San Francisco, but this is the book. The Yearbook of Agriculture, 1949. All right? And what this is a collection by, I think, 8 or 10 different people, if I counted all the different names. This is a guide. It is a guide from the United States Department of Agriculture on planting trees across the United States of America. So these are all the gentlemen. These are all the gentlemen who contributed to this. There's people from the Forest Service, several people from the Forest Service. There are, any manner of book-learned geniuses. And in this book, they talk all about trees. A tree, everyday tree for its use. Shade trees for the Northeast. Shade trees for the Southeast. Shade trees for the Plains. Shade trees for the Rockies. Shade trees for California. Shade trees for the North Pacific area. And pointers on planting. So when you peruse this little pamphlet, and you go through it, the tree, trees and men, a tree is a living thing. You go through this book, and if you go up here in the corner, you can see that you can punch in a word and say, look up that word, and it will highlight that. It will highlight that word for you. So if you look throughout this book, this booklet in the version that I'm showing you, the word male has been highlighted. Every time the word male is read in this book, printed in this book, it is highlighted in blue. So we got to go a little deeper here. Dig a little deeper. Okay, here we go. Every tree for its use. And what they explained, and I'll try to do this. I'll try to do this justice in as few words as possible for you. But what they did explain to us in this pamphlet was that just past the turn of last century, the elm tree was considered like the most beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous American tree of all of the flora that you could hope for. The mighty elm. There it was. Elm tree-lined streets all across America. That was like the most recommended tree. And from like 1900 to 1930, that's all they planted. Every new neighborhood got elm trees. But back then, they planted both male and female. Okay? They weren't picky. In fact, this book tells you a little about it. Those elm trees were monoecious. Okay? And a monoecious tree means that the tree has both female flowers and male flowers. Both. Monoecious. There was an article put out by the University of Georgia that said, hang on a minute, and this article was from, what year is this from? This University of Georgia article was from 2021. And it says, I'll share it with you. I'll share it with you right here. University of Georgia. University of Georgia. Are your trees boys or girls? Are the trees in your landscape boys or girls? When planting trees, not appreciating different tree genders can lead to many unwanted problems. Female flowers and female trees produce fruit and seeds. Male flowers and male trees produce pollen. Making the correct choice of tree gender can be important. Anyone who has ever smelled putrid ginkgo fruit, washed mulberries off of their car, or sneezed at tree pollen should understand. Sexual reproduction in trees allows male genetic components, that is pollen, to reach female components of the same species, grow to fertilize an egg, and produce a viable embryo within a seed. This fertilization process is made possible by flowers or by cones. I live up here in the world of coniferous trees. Yes. And it is a very interesting article. I will drop this article for anybody who is interested. It is definitely worth the read. Control A, Control C. Let's just drop this for you to study later if you are so inclined. If you're so inclined, you'll have some reading. You'll have some reading work right here. Boom, boom. Let's put it over in Rumble. And let's put it in YouTube. Boom. And last but not least, let's put it in Twitch, just in case people are watching over there. So that article kind of corroborates what was explained in that 1949 handbook that I shared with you, that I will also drop a link to. It was understood that what happened is at the turn of the last century, when all those elm trees were planted all across America, beautiful, just like Leave It to Beaver, okay? Just like in Leave It to Beaver. Those monoecious trees, those monoecious elm trees with male and female flowers were planted everywhere, but there was a sickness that came through, and it wiped out a bunch of those trees. That sickness was called Dutch elm disease, and that sickness began a decades-long process of wiping out almost every urban elm tree in the United States. So that's when this book was published, and the U.S. Department of Forestry said, folks, we want to rethink our urban landscape. We want to start introducing all these different types of trees, beautiful trees. And as you can see, they did their homework, okay? They segregated into different different parts of the U.S. I'll show you. Let me go forward in this a little bit, and I want to show you. Okay, here we go. I'll show you. Back to the workbook. Back to the handbook, okay? This particular chapter, shade trees for the Northeast. They tell you what the best trees are in this region. You go to the next section, they tell you what's good for the central part of the country. Are you seeing the highlighted word male? I want to flip back a page. You see that? Male. Male, male. Okay. Male, male. Male. Next page. Next page. Male. Okay, here's trees for the Rockies. Okay. Trees for the Rockies. Male, male, male. Male, male. I must have skipped a page because it tells you the Pacific Northwest. It tells you the perfect tree for every part of the whole freaking country. But one thing that they all agreed on is those filthy female plants had to go. Any female tree was going to drop its mulberry seeds or its jacaranda little pods, or you didn't want female trees that would, quote unquote, dirty up our streets. They tried to say that female trees were bad news. So just plant male trees. So that's where the term dioecious came from. Okay? The term dioecious means that you can, in fact, have a tree that is either just male or just female. So people did some research on this, and of course, you got all the people coming out who knows? Are they part of the big wazoo? Who knows? But they're trying to say, some people say that there's truth to the rumor that only male trees were planted. Other people are saying that there's no truth to the rumor that only male trees were planted. It's all just one big bullshit conspiracy. I'm going to let you decide. Ultimately, I'm going to let you decide, but I am going to play a little video
that
for
falls
you.
from male.
Stop. Let me put this on the screen. Come on, work with me. Work with me. Right here. Work with me. Let's watch this little video together. And you tell me what you think.
Trees.
It's all about the same. They both.
Planting more male trees has resulted in an urban pollen explosion, according to a 2018 workgroup report from the AAAAI. The report concluded this approach has resulted in homogeneous pollen profiles with a high community prevalence of allergy. So we can verify, yes, botanical sexism created a greater pollen problem in American cities. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till. Want something verified? Email us or send us a text. For more stories like this and to sign up for our newsletter, go to verifythis.com. Botanical sexism was introduced to many TikTok users thanks to this video that's been liked more than 450,000 times. The video claims people have worse allergies and asthma in the United States than they otherwise would because landscapers planted more male trees than female trees, arguing the males are easier to maintain than the females, hence the term botanical sexism. So let's verify. Has botanical sexism created a greater pollen problem in American cities? Our sources are the AAAAI, the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, a study on urban tree pollen allergy riskscapes by Quebec health and forestry researchers, Thomas Ogren, the horticulturalist and pollen allergy expert who coined the term botanical sexism.
And at the backbone of it is sort of a nasty sort of element, like males are superior to females.
And Kenneth Mendez, president and CEO of the AAFA, the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America.
There was an initiative over time in urban environments to plant male trees. Male trees release pollen.
An excerpt from a May 2021 study on urban tree pollen confirms Mendez's claim. Male trees, which produce pollen, have been promoted over female trees, which bear fruit and seeds. Why? Because it was decided that the mess from pollen is just less bothersome to clean up than the seeds and fruit from female trees. Ogren says the 1949 USDA yearbook is the earliest evidence of urban planners' preference for male trees, but argues the approach doesn't make sense because the weight of the seeds that fall off of female trees is nearly equal to the weight of pollen that falls from male trees.
It's all about the same. They both.
Planting more male trees has resulted in an urban pollen explosion, according to a 2018 workgroup report from the AAAAI. The report concluded this approach has resulted in homogeneous pollen profiles with a high community prevalence of allergy. So we can verify, yes, botanical sexism created a greater pollen problem in American cities. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till. Want something verified? Email us or send us a text.
For those of you who do research of any kind, for years and years, back in the, in the aughts, like in the 00s, 2000, I remember from 2000 to about 2010, I was always told by, the powers that be and the people that I talked to back in the early Facebook days and that kind of thing, that Snopes was a place that you could go to find truth, right? And as you all know, for the past 3 years, we've had all these crazy fact finders, right? Proving things in politics. Oh, let's see what the fact finder says. Is Donald Trump telling the truth? No, he's a liar. And then so there's all these, and PolitiFact and all the the little gauges. And I will say, I did a little research on this place called Verify. Okay, verifythis.com. And unlike Snopes, which we now know was run by a husband and wife. It was run by a husband and a wife who are now no longer a husband and wife, but they both had a clearly left bent to them, and they were getting paid off to push things, let's just say left of center. Okay, that's a fair statement. But this little place right here, this verifythis.com, I did some digging on them, and apparently they are a fairly trustworthy site. I punched a number of topics into their system when you go to their homepage, and was very surprised to find out that they're fairly even in their bias. So the next time you want to find something out, don't be afraid to try them. Hey, it never hurts. It never hurts. And they're not a Snopes. So if you got nothing else out of this program, you got that. But let me share a couple of things that you probably already might have guessed, okay? So is there a conspiracy to plant male trees? Well, it's not really a conspiracy. Back in 1949, that booklet was put out by the Department of Forestry. I shared it with you right here. The Department of Forestry. You saw the booklet with your own eyes. And I'll drop the link. I'm going to drop the link to that booklet so you can read it yourself. You'll see. I'm going to drop the link to this 1949 booklet right in the chat so you can all go read it for yourself. I want you to. I want you to do your own research like I did, because that way you'll know, you know what? Zoe's not lying to me. Zoe is not lying to me. Boom. I'm dropping it in just about every chat that there is. You can look this shit up later for yourself. Go, and those inquiring minds of yours, just run amok, baby. Run amok. Read this little book. It's not very long. It doesn't take very long to read this whole pamphlet. It's pretty quick, to be honest with you. It's just like a little leaflet that they passed out. But they did, in fact, promote the use of male trees over female. That's not to say that female trees didn't get planted, okay? But predominantly across America, north, south, east, west, when little suburbs popped out here, there, Chicago grew, Pittsburgh grew, Philadelphia grew, Los Angeles grew, all the tree-lined streets from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, your bigger urban centers, Detroit and, Dallas, all the big places got planted with mostly male trees. And that means lots of pollen. So we talked about this. We talked about this earlier. And when I say we talked about this, we talked about, I hinted that there could be some crazy conspiracy out there, that there's powers that be that might want to, wipe out 3/4 of our civilization so that the remaining few were easier to handle. Now, does this sound crazy to you? Well, I've been called crazy before. You wouldn't be the first one to suggest that I'm off the deep end. But look at this right here. Look at this right here. I've found a number of articles that say this. Listen up, people. I queried a couple of things. The long-term effects from exposure to pollen, and several of there's articles from some very serious and respectable magazines, American Journal of Medicine, peer-reviewed journals, serious medical shit, okay? The big boys. The big boys have looked at the effects of long-term pollen on a population, and this is what they have decided, okay? Allow me to quote. Long-term pollen exposure can lead to chronic inflammation and various health issues, including decreased lung function, asthma, increased susceptibility to infections. Untreated allergies can also affect quality of life, sleep, and mental well-being, and may increase healthcare costs. Allow me to elaborate. Chronic inflammation. Persistent exposure to pollen can cause chronic inflammation in the respiratory system, leading to conditions like chronic bronchitis and sinusitis. Reduced lung function. Prolonged exposure to pollen can damage lung tissue and reduce overall lung capacity, making it difficult to breathe. Allergies or asthma. Allergies can trigger asthma, a chronic respiratory condition that causes inflammation and narrowing of the airways, leading to wheezing, shortness of breath, and coughing. Increased risk of infection. Allergic reactions can weaken the immune system, making individuals more susceptible to bacterial and fungal infections in the sinuses, the lungs, and in the ears. Ear infections. Untreated allergies can cause fluid buildup in the middle ear, increasing the risk of ear infections, particularly in children, which can affect hearing and speech development. Cardiovascular strain. Severe uncontrolled asthma and allergies can strain the cardiovascular system due to frequent asthma attacks and breathing difficulties. Quality of life. Check this one out. And mental well-being, okay? Because of pollen. Hear me out, people. Allergic reactions can disrupt sleep, impair mental well-being, and decrease overall quality of life, potentially leading to lower productivity and decreased school performance in children. Medical costs. Pollen-related allergies can significantly increase healthcare costs, including those for medications and hospital admissions. This is there's any number. I mean, literally, folks, dozens and dozens of articles saying that high exposure to pollen is really bad, and where it really gets you, not so much when you're young, where it sneaks up and bites you right in the buttocks, is later in life. Later in life is when years of exposure to pollen will take
Botanical sexism was introduced to many TikTok users thanks to this video that's been liked more than 450,000 times. The video claims people have worse allergies and asthma in the United States than they otherwise would because landscapers planted more male trees than female trees, arguing the male...
Shut up, lady. You already had your say. You already had your say. Okay. Let me put this back. So, I looked just now at long-term effects from exposure to pollen. How about... God damn it, where's my other article? Where's my other article? There it is. There it is. Okay. How about this little jewel? Look at this. You want proof positive? Do you want proof positive? This comes from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. You would think, I mean, I know the government is a bunch of liars, okay? You know that the government is a bunch of liars, but when even the government comes out and says that spring pollen season, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, okay? Spring pollen season is getting longer and more intense. They're showing all the areas that are particularly affected by pollen, okay? Let me blow this up for you. Let me blow this up so it's a little easier to see. Those of you who are on your phones will thank me for this. Okay. All right. Now, this shows when springtime activity in plants typically begins over the last 30 years based on pollen monitoring stations certified by the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. That's the thing that the lady was just talking about that a minute ago. The AAAAI, okay? Part of the National Allergy Bureau, all right? Our changing climate, which I'm calling bullshit on that, has caused shifts in precipitation patterns, more frost-free days, warmer seasonal air temperatures, and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So higher pollen concentrations and earlier and longer pollen seasons. Now, hang on a minute. Hang on just a goddamn minute. You're blaming all of this on changing climate. You're gonna the freaking U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is going to blame the pollen increase on our changing climate when we have a pamphlet directing landscapers to plant male-only pollen-producing trees across America, which we did for the last 75 years. And you're going to say it's climate change. Does anybody else get a whiff of an aroma? And I'm not talking pollen. Smells like the ass end of a cow. A bull, in fact. I don't know. I looked at a number of articles. Hang on just a second. Let me pop this back up. This might make you laugh. But believe it or not, the things that can happen to both men and women who experience long-term exposure to pollen. Obviously, the stuff that we talked about a minute ago, the allergy-related asthma, sinus infections, and mental health problems, lack of sleep, blah, blah, blah. Both men and women can suffer from that. But additionally, while bee pollen is sometimes touted for various health benefits, it's important to note that it can also cause allergic reactions, and its long-term effect on males, men like you and me, boys, the ones with the junk in the trunk, okay, including prostate health and hormonal imbalance, cannot be underestimated. And again, they list the same likely characters, everything from asthma to allergic rhinitis, cardiovascular disease, prostate health, hormonal imbalance. These are the effects on males, okay? On men. They say that it can vary from person to person, but yes, the takeaway of this from males is that pollen allergies can worsen or exacerbate existing conditions like asthma or cardiovascular disease. Those are the effects on a male. Let's look at what can happen to a female if she is exposed long-term to pollen. Let's see. Hormonal fluctuations in women can make allergies more pronounced. We knew that. But pollen allergies can lead to irregular periods. Now, remember the women who were complaining about irregularities in their menstrual cycle during when people took that roll up your sleever there about 2 or 3 years, 4 years ago? Remember when that whole thing happened? And women were saying, "Hey, man, my biological clock has gone to hell. So, something's wrong. My monthly clock, the moon isn't affecting me anymore. Now I got something else." Well, how about this? Pollen, the same pollen that can screw with men's, let's just say, urges, this can affect women as well. Hormonal changes on women due to pollen exposure can affect pregnancy, menopause, menstrual cycles. What else? Yes, research suggests that women with allergies or asthma are more likely to experience irregular menstrual cycles. Pollen allergies in women, this is women now, and brought on by overexposure to pollen, can lead to food allergies. Okay? And here's what's crazy is the things that are really good for you, okay? Fruits and nuts, all the stuff that, Ewell Gibbons would have told you is healthy to eat. Your body, women's bodies, when facing reactions from pollen, certain fruits, vegetables, and nuts, because they share the same proteins with the pollen, can have an ill effect on women. So here you got women suffering from pollen allergies, and they're trying to eat healthy, trying to do the right thing, fruits, nuts, that kind of thing. Because these fruits and nuts share the same pollen, by the women ingesting these healthy foods, it's actually screwing with their menstrual cycles. I can't say it's a surprise. I really can't say it's a surprise. We all know that, between the chemtrails and all the other crap, they can't just come in and wipe us out, right? But isn't it amazing that they keep coming up with these systems that can wipe you out, no matter your race, your creed, your sex? They are finding more and more ways to take us out, and I'm not talking to dinner, okay? I'm not talking about taking you out to dinner. They are going out of their way to make us unhealthy. It is no wonder that they are going apeshit over all of the suggestions by Kennedy right now. Everything that he says that he wants to do, they're going after him with both guns. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this crap? Does anybody else other than me think that that somebody's out to get us? Or am I just a Fruit Loop? Am I a Fruit Loop? Andrew Schroeder, good to see you, buddy. How's it going? Al Julian says, it's like male gametes from trees actually affect us. Brother, yes, yeah, you said a mouthful right there. We need more female trees. Where's my article? I found a guy. Let me find the article here. It's that same guy from the video. I went and found him. I found an interview with him. Well, I got it. Oh, don't tell me I don't have it. Hang on. What he said, Al Julian, what the guy said was exactly what you suggested. Our remedy right now. You want to get rid of the pollen? You want to get rid of the pollen in at least your world? Start planting female-only trees all around your house. Now, I can tell you, as a builder, don't plant them near sidewalks. Don't plant them near your home. Keep them 15 feet from the foundation of your house, please, okay? Don't plant them near your sprinkler systems or your anything that the roots can reach around and twist up and destroy for. You don't want to plant them in the middle of your septic system, for God's sakes, where your leach field is. But I'm sure you can find a few places around the yard to plant female trees. Put them in pots, for that matter. Put them in pots. Find flowering trees. You know where you can find them? You know where you can find flowering female trees to plant in your yard? Go right back to that little pamphlet I gave you. This one right here. This one right here. Where is it? What did I do with it? What did I do with it? This one right here. I gave you the link. I gave you the link to this book. Folks, all you have to do is scroll to your area, Find out what part of the country you live in. Find out what trees are grow wonderfully in your area, okay? And go and plant you some female trees. I'm going to try to find this video. In fact, I'm going to play a video for you to have a break. I'm going to play a little video for you to have a nice little potty break. You can run and go use the toilet. You can refill your soda, whatever it is you have to do. You go and do it. That's going to give me a minute to find the interview with this man where he says exactly that. Plant female trees, and it will combat the pollen problem. And tell that to every landscaper you know. Quit planting male trees. Quit it. We got enough. Okay? The boys in the hood are all over the hood. It's time for girls in the hood. Do you hear me now? I'm telling you the truth, people. I'm telling you the truth. Go read that little pamphlet. I gave you the line. All right, let me find a video to play for you. Let me find a friendly little video for you. Is this the one we want? Is this the one we want? Yes, this is the one we want. Okay. All right. You've got like 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go take a leak, do whatever voodoo that you have to do. But by the time this video is over, I should find that article by that man, the interview of that man who said, just plant trees, just plant female trees. We'll be back right after this, people, right after this.
We sail upon the mystery ship, 'cause we never know where we'll go next. And so, my friends, we're so very happy that you decide.
Well, I don't know where that came from. I forgot that had a pre-recorded video, but I will take a second to thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me here on the Mystery Ship. It's always a pleasure to look out and see the same smiling faces. The people who show up time after time after time with inquiring minds, and the ones who like to laugh at their brother Zoe for his preposterousness. Yes, Dave says, EO2 Dave says some static in the audio. I gotta go. I'm sorry if it's that bad. I really, I'm gonna have to tear apart my studio. I put all brand new cords and plugs. You know what? You know what I do have? I've got this stuff that you spray on all your connections and it cleans up all the pots and shit. I may have to open up the board and give it a good scrubbing, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. All right, there's that. Let's get back to Zoe. I want to thank those of you who come and hang out with me. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Those of you who have taken it a step further and have made donations to this channel in whichever way you see fit, whether it be the gold pills, whether it be the wonderful lemons that you share, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Thank you for your support of this program. You guys are the ones. You guys are the ones that keep me alive when I'm on the road in the summer. So this September when I go cross country, I'm probably going to be looking for a little help from you to keep me going from city to city to city, so I can continue to go out and meet all of the crazy sailors whom I love. Thank you, those of you who have shared the love this evening. Let's just shout out a few names. Girl Patriot, thank you so much. Due Diligence, my brother. Ext Old World, thank you. Scott 17, greatly appreciate you. He goes, I came for the pollen talk. Artist 61, green peppers are also male and female, kind of scary. Really? So I found this talk given by a gentleman by the name of Tom Ogren. Now, Tom Ogren is a United States horticulturist, and he is well-versed in this idea that there is botanical sexism going on in the United States. In fact, I'm going to drop the freaking link. I'm going to drop the link for you. See? Control V. There you go. I am dropping it in the different chats. Seriously, people, I want you to watch this, okay? I want you to watch this. This guy gives a shit about you and me. He really does. And he is saying, he's done his homework, if we were to start planting female trees, then by God, we could change the world. Things would go better for us. Where's my Rumble? Where's my Rumble chat? Here we go. Control V. I'm going to play some of this video. Because this guy is a pretty interesting dude. And let me show you. These are the topics that he described. And what's really nice is that they're time-coded for us. So if one particular part of this video interests you more than another, you can skip right to it. You see the time codes right there? Okay, look at this. Look at this. Botanical sexism, types of flowers, urban trees, podocarpus, red cedars, African sumac. He starts talking about the different trees that can help us, okay? Like the female ash tree. This was really, this interview is an hour and 6 minutes. We're going to watch a little bit of it. And I'm telling you, interesting dude. You might like this video. I posted the link for you. Let's watch a little bit of it. Let's just watch a little bit of what Mr. Ogren has to say. Okay? Sit back. Relax, take this in for a minute. Let's do this.
But this is an alternative, and it is complementary. It will make everything better, big time. Go for that. Botanical sexism is what I'm credited with discovering a number of things, and one of them is botanical sexism, and this is the fact that every time they could make a choice between a male and a female bush or tree in the cities, pretty much everywhere in the civilized world, from New Zealand to Nova Scotia, they always went with the male, and that's because the females drop seeds or pods or fruits or something. But the males drop stuff too. This is a male cedar tree, and that's pollen on the ground. I'm not going to get too technical here, but I guess I won't even have a chance. Stuart didn't let me. But there's basically 3 types of flowers, and actually there's 20, but I'm not going to get into the fine details. There's perfect flowered like a rose bush. You've got male and female in the same flower. A bee only has to move the pollen from the male part to the female part maybe a 1/4 of an inch or less. The pollen is typically sticky and large, not causing a lot of allergies. However, there are exceptions. Monaceous. Monaceous trees have like typically 1 branch is all male, 1 is all female. These used to trap a lot of their own pollen. The parking lot where we're parked in today looks to be about 100 or more monaceous trees. There are no female flowers on them. They've been grafted with parts from the male. That means they won't drop any messy pods, but it means that the parking lot is already allergenic, and 5 years from now it's going to be 20 times more. 3, the ones that I'm the most interested, dioecious, separate sexed. Everybody here is dioecious. Some of us are boys and some are girls. I'll tell you a quick story here before I go any further. I like to work my wife into all this since we've been married so bloody long, and she's put up with me. But around 30 years ago, I was sitting in bed with my wife, and I was reading a book on pollen, big thick thing that almost nobody reads, and she was reading a novel, and I kept reading about those separate sex dioecious species that's causing so much allergies. And some were even saying, don't plant any of these, and they include hundreds of plants. And I suddenly got this bright idea. And I said to my wife, I said, Yvonne, I got this idea. And she said, what's that? And I said, if these plants are really separate sexed, that means one's the male, another one's a female. She said, okay. And I said, they say that like willows and poplars and maple trees cause all this allergy. But I said, if they're separate sexed, think about it. The male is putting all that pollen out. That's his job. The female doesn't produce any pollen. Females don't produce pollen. And my wife said, I said, in fact, if you think about it, the female that traps pollen but never produces any is a true allergy-free plant, isn't it? And she said, oh, you might be onto something, Tom. And I probably wasn't onto anything, but it kept me talking and running my mouth for 30 years. Okay, so the epidemic of allergies and epidemic of asthma, in the 50s, probably around 3-4% had pollen allergies. By 88, I was already into this and studying it, and I was reading about the huge jumps to 12%. By 99, the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology said it was now 38%, appeared to be growing. We don't even know what it is now, but go ahead and flip. Okay, so Charity Allergy in the UK said that, you can read that. The last one is probably more important. Getting pollen allergies more than doubles the chance that a child will develop asthma. Once you got asthma, you got asthma. You don't cure it. And it would be much better if children didn't develop allergies in the first place, and that it make them double the susceptibility to getting asthma, which is a lifelong thing. But when I look at landscapes, the very worst ones I see are typically in elementary schools. And the very highest pollen count ever recorded in the United States was taken at an elementary school in Las Vegas. And I went there and visited and took some photos a couple of years ago, and there were 24 mature shade trees, and 23 of them were clonal males. And all the bushes were clonal junipers, males. We're just setting these kids up with that sort of landscape. All right, so these are all related. Asthma increases chance of getting diabetes, heart disease, and the last.
Now look at these. Look at these right here. Stop that. These are all related to pollen trees, male trees, asthma. In the last 20 years, this is just since they started looking, they didn't look at this information for 50 years. They just planted the male trees because that's what the little book said to do. But look at this. 400, in the last 20 years, 400% increase in food allergies, 300% increase in asthma, 400% increase in ADHD, 400% increase in celiac disease, 1,500 to 6,000 increase in autism. Now I know that they're trying to say that there are other causes, like things like the immunizations that they give children when they're born. And I'm not discounting that. That is entirely likely. But while we're busy looking at all the big shit, right? Like vaccinations, what if they had something up their sleeve as subtle as the trees in your neighborhood? What if, in fact, now I'm only suggesting this, I'm not saying this, but what if they thought a long time ago, that's what we'll do. We'll just put male trees all over America, and by God, they'll all go down in a pile, and no one will ever suspect the trees. People, I don't know. I don't know what to say on this. I'm not a horticulturist I'm not an arborist, but I do know that I have experienced an increase in a runny nose, which I've never had at any point in my whole freaking life. And is it possible? Is it possible that the problem is right under our nose? I left you plenty of things to ponder this evening. Okay, I dropped you a bunch of links all throughout this show. I invite you to watch those couple of videos. I mean, I know that this guy isn't the most exciting speaker in the world. Okay, I have to say he's a little bit like watching paint dry, but the information that he shares is pretty interesting and viable. Okay? Who knows? Who knows? All I do know is I have been listening to more people complaining about sinus problems than ever before in my life. What if there is some truth to this rumor? What if 70, 80 years ago, when that book came out on a guide to planting trees across America, and believe me, we have been developing America for the last hardcore since the 50s, right after World War II. That's when all the, suburban landscape changed from where I grew up as a kid in the San Fernando Valley in Southern California. It was the whole valley. Half of the valley in 1969 was orange groves. It was orange groves. And one by one, I watched these giant lots get mowed down. Orange trees are gone. And in their place were these cookie cutter homes, flip-flop little tracts, you know, the same house every 5 doors down the street. There's the same house over and over again. It might be different colors. It might have a different garage door design on it, but it's the same house over and over again. Tracts filled America. They filled America. And along with those tracts came the planting of trees. Who knows? Who knows? But this might be an interesting thing to do. A very unique aspect of your phone right now is the Google Lens. The camera on your phone. You can take a picture and you can use the little, once you take a picture of something, take a picture of my phone right there, right? You can go to Google. You can go to Google and just hit that little camera button. And you can search with it. You can search and say, what is that? What is that phone? And it'll tell you. It'll tell you the brand name. It'll tell you. And I can't tell you how many plants, how many flowers, how many items in nature that Mrs. Zoe and I have taken pictures of and then looked at to find out what they were. And I'll be damned. If you look it up, start looking it up, you're going to find that there's way more male trees in your neighborhood than female trees. See if I'm wrong. See if I'm wrong. But I do want to tell you this. Start planting female trees. Plant them all around your house. Put them in pots. Whatever you got to do. But see if that doesn't change your life. This is your brother Zoe. I'm checking out. It's been I'm sorry about the rough audio. It really kind of bothers me. Bothers me greatly. I'm going to have to tear apart my board and find out what the hell is making all the static. It's irritating as hell. But my apologies, people. My apologies. My thanks go out to those of you who have donated to the show tonight. I'm going to be releasing the scratching over there at Pilled Foxhole. Gold pills coming your way right now. Gold pills coming your way. Over you over there in Lemonland. Let's throw something in the lemon pile, shall we? Let's throw a little something in there so that when I release the treasure chest, you guys win something. There you go. 24 seconds away. Seriously. Check it out. See if I'm crazy. See if I'm crazy. You'll find out. You'll find out. Interesting guy. Tom Ogren. Check him out. Tom Ogren. Check him out. Let me know what you come up with. Let me know if botanical sexism isn't really something going on in our country. All right, over here in Lemonland, TL Spud hauls them in. Top of the heap. Bad Zoot right behind him. Jayla17, good to see you on the list. Silibor, my brother. Thanks again, Silibor, for ordering me my access doors and my safety railing and all my good stuff. I appreciate it. It was going to arrive on time. I've been tracking it. You are the man. You are the man. Thanks a bunch. I hope all of you have I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week. I'll see you Friday night. And we'll do this again. Be good, my friends. Brother Zoe, he's going to shuffle off to Buffalo. Shuffle off to Buffalo. Oh, close. Here we go. There we go. There we go. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready if you're ready. We'll see you all on the flip side, my friends. Have a great rest of your week. Know that your brother Zoe loves you. Catch you all around the bend.
73 men sailed up from the San Francisco Bay, rolled off of the ship, and here's what they had to say. We're calling everyone to ride along to another shore. We can laugh our lives away and be free once more. But no one heard them calling, no one came at all, 'cause they were too busy watching those old